Hey, good afternoon, Chani and friends. This is Pastor Sue, and welcome to this week's episode of Patio Ponderings. It is a rainy, gray, and cool day, but I am outside nonetheless. And today my patio is the shelter or the awning covering the entrance to the office door. And this is actually one of my favorite places to sit on a nice day. I like to come out here and have my lunch. I can still greet people as they come and go and watch the traffic go by and still be close to work and to the office. So welcome today. So this week, there is a verse from Sunday that has just been sticking hard with me. And it is this one from Micah chapter 6, and it is verse 8. He has told you, human one, what is good and what the Lord requires from you, to do justice, to embrace faithful love, and to walk humbly with your God. And this is not the only place in Scripture by far that talks about humility. I think Ephesians says almost the same thing in just a slightly different way. It says, with all humility and gentleness, we are to bear with one another with love. To be humble, to have humility is a call on our lives as followers of Jesus Christ. And yet, to be honest, it seems like it's one of the attributes of a faithful life that we talk about far less frequently than many other attributes, such as love, compassion, mercy, forgiveness, grace. Still, it's what we're called to. And I have to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm just super cynical, but it seems like there's not a lot of humility present in our culture today. It's not a trait I feel like we encounter very often, and it's certainly not one that's lifted up as a virtue. In fact, it seems like it's almost looked at as a negative. And it's manifested primarily this way for me in our culture that is so divided and so polarized, and every faction around every issue that insists it's right and they're the best and they're the greatest. And I'll admit my own complicity in that. It's hard not to get sucked into that way of thinking when it's all around you. And so I've really been pondering about what does it look like to walk in humility. The whole theme of our book is making the road by walking. So if we are going to walk into the future as a church, as people of God, what does it look like to do so with humility? And I don't know if I have an answer for you. It's something I'm still really thinking about. But it certainly reminds us that the way we do walk is going to be countercultural. It almost always is. But here's the interesting thing that happened. This morning I was coming to work and I was listening to NPR, and they were talking about sustainability from the perspective of Indigenous peoples. And they explicitly talked about being humble. And it was so helpful to hear their conversations around that. And so I just want to lift up just a couple things from that conversation that might give us a good place to start in thinking further about walking humbly in our life with God. And one is the understanding. To be humble is to understand that everyone has some wisdom to share and some gift to offer. Second, the speaker today really emphasized that we are all related. Not just that we're all related as people, but we're also related to our whole creation. And that means that each one of us is just a small part of the whole universe. And that since we are created last as humans, that we are the infants and that we have the most to learn in our little piece of the world. And so that was a really interesting perspective on humility. But finally, the understanding of humility that I heard that was really profound is how tied it is to thankfulness for what we have and for the creation that surrounds us, and gratitude. And so that's a whole nother perspective of humility, is to approach that from a stance, from a posture of gratitude. So what do you think? What does it look like for you to walk humbly in our life together? What does that look like? I'd love to hear your thoughts. In the meantime, have a wonderful day. We'll see you on Sunday. Bye.